Right. Us versus them. While we pay to keep our politicians fighting, how do we, the people, rise up and solve the great challenges of our time? We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
Yes, it is Larry Sharp back here on A Free Solution. So happy to be here. Usually host of the Sharp Way Show, which is my cool podcast most evenings around 7 p.m. Eastern. But right now, WYSL, Rochester, New York, WACK, Newark, New York. That is the cool Newark, by the way. Sorry, Jersey, take that. Reach out to me, 585-346-3000. I know that I often bring up New York City stuff. It's true. Absolutely. This stuff moves on to other cities. Sometimes we're seeing it right at the same time in Rochester or Buffalo. Sometimes we are. But if we don't see it right away, we see it soon. New York City had not a good couple of days for a very specific reason. We found 5 guns on students in 2 days in schools. They may say, Larry, that's terrible. You're right. Kids should not be bringing loaded firearms to school. That's a thing they shouldn't be doing. So, of course, we decided, all right, how do we fix this? Right? So, clearly, when kids are bringing guns to school, the answer is making schools more like a prison, right? You're laughing, but that's what we've done. We've decided that the answer is we'll have more metal detectors, we'll have more people patting them down, stuff like that, so that guns don't get into school. Well, could that be a short-term Band-Aid? Yeah, that could be, right? If you are waiting for a larger solution to the problem and you immediately decide, let's just do this now as a Band-Aid, that's not necessarily a bad idea. I get stopping the bleeding. Makes sense. But if I've got a serious wound, covering up my wound so I don't bleed to death is a good idea, but I'm still really in trouble. This is what New York City is doing. This is what government does. This is what we're doing constantly. And the thing becomes, well, we'll just do this as a Band-Aid. But the problem is, that's all we do. Band-Aid upon Band-Aid upon Band-Aid. We never fix the underlying problem. So now we have 4, 5, 6, or 8 or 10 Band-Aids on top of a bad problem. So now someone goes, we got to fix this problem. Well, you're right. But there's 9 Band-Aids on it. Now what do I do? And someone goes, well, rip the Band-Aid off. Well, the problem is when you rip the Band-Aid off, now you've got more problems, don't you? The Band-Aid itself created problems. In fact, it's probably an infection because of all the Band-Aids you never changed. So now you got an infection too. You got to treat the infection now. You got to fix the Band-Aids. You got to stop the bleeding. And you haven't even touched the problem yet. Again and again and again. This happens constantly because of temporary solutions. Yes, I'm doing air quotes. Because the solutions actually aren't temporary. And that's our bigger issue. So let me go directly to the gun problem in New York City. Now, you're bringing guns into New York City. These are kids bringing guns into New York City, meaning people under the age of 18, 15, 16, 17, bringing loaded firearms, handguns, into schools. Now you can say to yourself, so we need more laws? It's New York City. You really can't get more laws. I mean, the only other law you can have is, I guess, if you say the word gun, they arrest you. That's probably the only other law you could do. We have the strictest gun laws in the entire state, maybe in the entire country. I think we probably do. Yeah, we probably do in the entire country. So The laws aren't working because not only are the guns themselves illegal, but the people having them can't have them because they're underage. So even that's illegal. So every aspect of this is illegal. And you have to have them in a government building on top of it. So even that's illegal. Taking a loaded firearm as a minor into a government school is as illegal as it could possibly be. I don't know what's more illegal without actually shooting somebody, right? So I don't know what the law you're going to create. So it's not a law thing anymore. We've thrown all the laws and it doesn't work. So that's not the answer. Well, we'll do these metal detector things. We'll make the school more like a prison. Well, the greatest part about that is if you make the school more like a prison, you'll stop the violence, right? Oh, wait. The most violent jail in the entire country is Rikers Island, literally also in New York City. The most violent jail in the entire country is also in New York City with the strictest gun laws, everything else you could possibly imagine. For those who don't know, Rikers Island is literally an island. That's not a saying. It's actually an island with a little bridge that goes over to the island. So the only way to get anything into Rikers Island is to go down this bridge. That's physically true. My father was actually a guard. He was a CO at Rikers Island. I remember driving that bridge, and it's still there. It's driving distance from my house. I live in Queens. Rikers Island is in Queens. I can drive there right now in 5 minutes. That's where the prison, the jail is. Sorry, the jail. Most violent jail in the country, right there. It's an island. One bridge to go to the island. Guards with guns everywhere. Walls, barbed wire, electric metal doors, all the things. Most violent. So our answer is make the schools more like prisons. That's the answer. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. It sounds like I'm joking because sane people wouldn't do what I'm saying. Is anything I'm saying false? Backed by data, everything I'm saying. The problem, as I've been saying for months now, maybe years now, is the black market. That's the problem. When you create an environment where you lock kids up, when you don't let them go to work, you don't let them go to school, you don't give them purpose, when you create an environment to where the black market becomes more valuable than the regular market, you see all the people quitting. You see it. Are they deciding to not pay their bills anymore? No. They're just working in the black market. That's it. They're working off the books. That's it. And how do you enforce your contracts when you can't use cops and courts? Violence. You now have a violent environment. Well, what works really well with violence? Loud, scary weapons like guns works really well. That's why the thugs use them. They use them because they work. They are effective tools in a violent environment, aka the black market. So you're saying these kids, they're coming because, oh my God, I'm a bad kid and I want to kill people. Of course not. Of course not. I had a friend from high school, very good friend of mine. In fact, it's funny, when we were in high school, we were very close. And we were still friends after high school, but not as close. And he was a teacher for a while, high school. And this is probably in the 90s or 2000s. I forgot when he was telling me this story, probably 2000s. He's talking about him being a teacher in school. And I said, man, is there a problem with, like disciplinary problems with like drug dealers and such in your high school? He was in a tough neighborhood. He goes, oh, no, not them. I said, what? He said, no, the dealers are great. I said, what? He said, yeah, never miss a class, always in school. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, this is a business for them. The customers are all in school. They're not staying home. They got to make money. So the dealers are in school every day. They're going to work. They're serving their customers. They're making money. They love school. They can't get enough. The dealers are awesome. And I was like, wow, I would have never thought that. My image of a dealer is some guy hanging out back, doing bad stuff, hurting people. He said, no. Some of his customers doing that, but the dealer, oh, it's great. Shocked me. Probably 20 years ago when I heard this. But after the shock, I thought, oh, that actually makes sense. So these kids going to school with firearms, they're the enforcers. They're the ones trying to enforce contracts and deals. That's what we're trying to do. End the black market, end the violence. But that's not how it works. See, we don't want to deal with the actual underlying causes of things like lockdowns and lack of purpose and lack of community and the destruction of the communities and the families in our neighborhoods. That's hard. You know what's easy? More cops, more security, more machines, lock more people up. That works really well. That's a whole lot easier. What do I get? I get Rikers Island. I get the most dangerous jail in the country. That's what I get. The most violent. Am I right? Am I wrong? Tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharp, WYSL on a free solution. Back after the break.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for
Okay,
any
Larry,
issues,
I have
keeping
Craig
your
from
business
Clinton.
running smoothly. They also help.
You're welcome.
clients
I'm going to
HIPAA,
come back with a
PCI,
quick
and New York
sound
State
clip.
cybersecurity
It's Joe
compliance
Biden. I
keep
think you'll
your
get a
network
kick out of
safe
it.
and secure. Whatever your business
welcome.
IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182.
Oh, that's because I had to unmute this to talk to you. Sorry.
Inside the Taylor Laboratories.
Hey, Tony, what you doing?
A little experiment, Zach. Look what I have under the microscope.
Ugh, what's that?
A sample of indoor air.
How can it be that dirty? Don't AC and furnace filters help?
Only with dust, Zach. But when Taylor installs a whole house APCO air purifier to detox the air, odors, chemicals, mold, bacteria, and viruses are removed.
For clean indoor air.
Yep. Ain't science awesome?
Taylor, 500 help.
A message from the National Police Association. It used to be that any able-bodied person would offer to assist a police officer in danger. Now, passers-by are more likely to take a video. There's a better use for your phone when an officer's in trouble. Call 911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then, start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement, visit nationalpolice.org. That's nationalpolice.org.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
What am I doing here?
Yeah, that's kind of the response from most of our leadership right now. Well done. Well done, Uncle Joe. I'm glad that you write checks for us. That's nice. I'm not mad at that. I'd like something other than that, though. Could I get something in addition to just writing us checks? I know it's easy, but again, it's that Band-Aid thing. Larry Sharp here on A Free Solution. WYSL Rochester, New York. WACK Newark, New York. 585-346-3000. And of course, remember something. This show's on every day, noon. Yeah, cool people like Kevin Wilson are on. The man himself, Tim O'Connor's on. I'm trying my best to always get the awesome Andrew Hollister on. So you can watch us. How do you do that? Follow A Free Solution on YouTube and Facebook. That easy. All right. I want to grab a call if I could. I want to grab Craig from Clinton. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you, Larry?
I'm doing great, my friend.
Just calling because really all the problems that we have, right? And this is true for any lens, but, socialist or whatever, conservative. But when you look at stuff like this through a libertarian lens, like what you're talking about, everybody is like, wow, but we wrote a law, or we did this, or we cracked down, or this is our policy. And they think just because they pressed the button, just because they pulled the lever, right, that fixed the problem. But they forget that people are going to people, right? So I don't know. This is always the question, right? How do you communicate that message, or can you communicate that message, or do we just move away and create a separate system? Like, what's the deal here? What's the answer?
Well, sadly, many New Yorkers are moving away. So that's the bad part. I would like us to not choose that option. I'm not mad because people leave I'm not mad at the people who leave New York State. I get it. I've thought of it too. So has every New Yorker who's watching. We've all thought of it. Some of us are planning right now. I get it. I'm mad at the system that is making our state so bad that people are saying what you're saying. Do we just pack up and leave? People are doing it. I'd like us not to. So how do we get the message out? First of all, by talking like we do. You see me yapping every week on this, right? So that's number one. But to be forward, that's not enough. That is a start, and we should do it, because without that, the other things don't happen. The second piece is getting people at a local level to actually implement some of these things, these ideas of changing and fixing the black market. Other people will eventually see it. It might take time, but eventually they'll see it. And when they see it, they go, oh, so turning my school into Rikers Island isn't the better answer? Huh. Generally speaking, and it's going to sound crazy, parents love their children. That's kind of how that works. And they would like their children to not be inside violent prisons. That's a general rule that usually works pretty well. So when parents see it, they can make change. So I think the first piece is talking about it, as we do. The second piece is allowing local communities to start doing the things that we talk about, and then letting others watch and begin to change. When you see there's a difference, people go there or do it. How do we know that? We're watching New Yorkers pack up and go to other states. Why can't we do that at a county or local level? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and specifically with the drug war thing, I think a lot of people still believe, like you did that thing on Kathy Hochul. I think people believe that the way to help people is to throw them in jail. Oh, we'll throw them in there and then we'll fix them. No, you're probably just gonna piss them off, really. Like, so it's just interesting because you're fighting against basically 100 years of the same idea, right? And it's very hard to break that. I was listening to a radio show locally here today, and guy said that, literally said, we got all these druggies on the street. We got to make drugs illegal so we can throw them in prison and get them help. What?
Yes. What did our awesome governor say? Our awesome governor literally said the answer to addiction is meds in prison. The answer to mental disability, mental problems and issues is medication in prison. Literally. She's literally saying that the answer is put them in prison and then help them. Or you could just help them without the prison part, right? That's not required. I don't know why the prison part's required. We could pull that part out and just help people, but the best way people are helped is through community groups. And when we've destroyed the communities don't have the institutional knowledge to help the people anymore. They've lost it. All those people are working for the government now, and they've been broken by the government to become box checkers. I'm not joking. If you've done that, you've watched it happen. They become box checkers because it's the only way they can do anything. And they fall into what I call the at least mindset, which is, I know I can't help this guy or gal, but at least they're not on the street. So that's what they do. At least. Well, the at least mindset ensures that no one's actually helped. They're just serviced in perpetuity. So they stay in a bad place forever versus being helped. That's where we are right now.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with incentives. You talk about like welfare or stuff like that. It's literally measured by how far can we grow the rolls, right? So
Yes.
I'm not going to try to get people off, because if I get a nice bonus at the end of the year or recognition or whatever, hey, we had the highest retention rate, or we got the most people
Yep.
on services. You're literally
100%.
putting more people on services.
Yes, absolutely. I see this all the time, right? And the worst part is what you just said. The more we do this, the more we become accustomed to it. And the temporary solution becomes the permanent solution. And now we have so many Band-Aids, we can't even see the problem. All we see is the Band-Aid bleeding, the third Band-Aid bleeding. So the answer is, how do we stop the bleeding on this third Band-Aid? I know, fourth Band-Aid. Then we see the fifth one come in, sixth Band-Aid. We just keep putting Band-Aids because we keep seeing the blood coming through the Band-Aid. We have to pull the Band-Aids up and fix them, but we don't. And the problem is we become accustomed to it. That guy on the radio who's saying we got to lock him up and give him help, he doesn't think he's a bad person. He doesn't think he's doing something wrong. He's been accustomed to, there's no other answer but prison. So let's help them in prison. So he's trying to solve the problem. He's just wrong because he's been taught this his entire life. That's the issue.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's just a matter of new ideas, right? New ideas.
There we go.
I think we might be on our way there, because you're seeing alternative media, right? Before, I just had to listen to the magic box and it told me what to think. But
Yep.
as hard as they are trying to silence people on different platforms, I think you are seeing stuff start to leach out, right? It's slipping through their fingers.
100%. I agree completely. Craig, thank you for the call, brother. You're the best.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Have a good one. So the piece I want to bring up that Craig was talking about is basically like a precedent or a social norm that is created by this type of aggression, this type of Band-Aid. We become accustomed to the Band-Aids, so we expect the Band-Aids. And now once a local group says, oh, we can start now putting in metal detectors in schools, patting kids down in schools, then everyone starts doing it. It becomes a precedent. But here's the worst part. The kids become accustomed to it. So now kids are accustomed to going into a place and being patted down and treated like prisoners. So now when they go to their job or to an airport or to any place, they're not upset when they get treated like prisoners. And when you say, I don't treat you like a prisoner, they go, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? This is our only way to safety. You've got to be treated like a prisoner. You're clearly evil. You're a bad person. It's not because they're bad. It's all they know. Yeah, that's my biggest issue. Am I wrong? Am I crazy? 585-346-3000. Larry Sharp on a free solution, WYSL. Back after the break with your comments and your calls. Back after the break.
All right, when we come back, we got Eric from Florida. You're welcome.
Fly the flag, stand for freedom.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon, Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center. For tonight, rain will start to taper off, but it will stay kind of cloudy out there. Temps in the 40s on Wednesday. Kind of a gloomy start, overcast, maybe a bit of drizzle, but it will try to clear a little bit in the afternoon. Temperatures in the low to mid 50s. Much nicer day Thursday. Some sunshine back near 60. Enjoy it. Rain returns on Friday. I'm Rich Canilia, WYSL.
At Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Anthony Drive off Route 96 in Victor. They'll help you get ready for winter driving with America's favorite four-wheel drive vehicles, like the 21 Jeep Gladiator Freedom Edition Crew Cab 4x4 pickup, $349 a month for 42 months. A 21 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Limited 4x4 is just $399 a month for 42 months. Must be returning lessee. The 2021 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4x4 is only $199 a month for 42 months. Must have Stellantis loyalty and be returning lessee. The 21 Ram 1500 Classic Warlock Quad Cab 4x4 pickup is just $179 a month for 36 months. Must have Stellantis loyalty and be returning lessee. Use 2 Ram coupons while supply lasts. Jeep, America's iconic four-wheel drive brand. $2,500 cash or trade and other conditions apply. Get full details from the dealer. Equipment and MSRP vary by model. We're here to fully serve Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairport, and throughout the Metro and Finger Lakes. Winter's coming. Get the safety and security only Jeep can give. Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram 6560 Anthony Drive in Victor.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
An experienced professional with more than 15 years in dentistry, Dr. David Olivo welcomes new patients to his family practice at 2005 Lyle Avenue. At the office of Dr. Olivo, you'll discover a warm and comforting environment staffed by professionals who are committed to providing the best available dental care while assuring your complete comfort. Call 328-3382 for an appointment. Dr. David Olivo, offering quality dentistry with a gentle touch.
Every day, Isaac technicians provide expert installation, repair, and maintenance. From Buffalo to Syracuse, Rochester to the Finger Lakes and Southern Tier, our technicians make Isaac the trusted source for home comfort. It's a level of trust and confidence earned by improving the quality of life for many happy clients. This fall, we're offering a Lennox furnace with no interest and no payments for 12 months. Thank you for your trust in Isaac. Visit isaacheating.com today.
What does it mean to bank locally with Tompkins? It means keeping your money in your community with a team of neighbors to guide you through big decisions and milestones, plus all the convenience of our mobile app where you can manage your account, deposit checks remotely, send money to family and friends, even turn your card off if it gets misplaced, then back on when you find it. Ready to bank locally with the team at Tompkins? Visit Tompkins Bank of Castile online or at a branch to get started. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At Veterans Outreach Center, we do so much more than just provide services for veterans. Our one-stop shop model means that we provide a life-changing experience to our nation's heroes. If you're a veteran looking to change your life, or even just to connect with other vets, contact us today at 585-546-1081 or online at vocroc.org. Veterans Outreach Center, serving those who serve us.
WYSL.
Gun confiscation is on the mind of every liberal lawmaker in this state. Don't let it happen. Join Scope NY before it's too late. Visit us at www.scopeny2a.org.
All right, just confirming, Keith from Florida is still on the line.
Selection of pies, cookies, and dinner rolls.
Or, I'm sorry, wait a second.
$95.75 and place your order at Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten-Free Bakery.
I'm sorry, Eric.
A free solution.
It is Larry Sharp back here on A Free Solution, WYSL in Rochester, WACK in Newark, New York. You want to reach out to me? 585-346-3000. Before the break, I was talking about precedent. I was talking about Band-Aids, talking about trying to solve real problems. I hope we can do so. I think Eric wants to talk about that. I have a call now. Eric from Florida. How are you, sir?
Good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm a firm believer that we just need to get rid of public schools altogether and, and privatize them.
Well, the issue you have, though, and this is my point I want to bring up with this. I get what you're saying, and I like the concept, but you got to remember something. We've had public schools serving people literally now over 100 years, right? So
yeah,
you have
I get
communities
that,
that are not prepared right now to absorb that responsibility yet. We have tax issues and tax policies that aren't prepared to support this yet. And more importantly, lifestyles of Americans that use public schooling as a major way for childcare for their kids during the day. So that this has to be a massive cultural change.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I don't think that we should just get rid of public schools altogether. I think that we should still give vouchers to parents and let the teachers create the market. Let them open up schools in areas that right now in Marion County, they say it's about $500 per kid per day. And at the high school up here, there's over 3,000 kids, but they're broke.
Yep.
They don't have the money, the resources, and it doesn't make sense. You know, if they got rid of the public school and let them go private, as well as giving vouchers to parents to let them pick and choose what school that they want their kid to go to, you would remove 100% of the problems. You would get rid of...
Well, no, not 100%. Come on now. Private school isn't perfect. It'd be way better, but there'd still be problems. You still would have bad teachers. You still have bad administrators. People are humans. It wouldn't be 100%.
You would, but if let's say there's 10 high schools in my area and your school is doing poorly, you would switch your kid. The market would set the pace. The teachers would have to either do better or they would have to remove them or they would just lose out on money. And
but again, even though if you're right, I guess what I'm trying to say, Eric, is not that I disagree with you. I agree with what you're saying, but I'm not sure you hear how it comes across. How you're delivering this message is coming across as, let's end the schools tomorrow, and when we end them, magically it will be 100% perfect.
No, nothing ever starts off that quickly, but you would lose the ability for corruption. You know,
there was some corruption.
Corruption. We just have way too much corruption in anything that is ran by the government.
Brother, I love you. I love what you're saying, but you hear what you just said. We would end corruption. You're using superlatives, and I'm asking you, as you're talking about this, don't go to superlatives. Use comparatives. And what I mean by that is say we would have a whole lot less corruption. That's true. But there's still be corruption. People are still going to do bad things here or there, right?
The human race is corrupt. Everybody's corrupt in some sort of way. I get that. But, you know, when you're talking about a chain of command of all these people who are in charge of the schools, and you're looking at $500 per kid per day at 3,000 kids you know, and they don't have the money for bands. They don't have money for books. Well,
Yes.
that money went somewhere. You know,
Yeah, I tell you where it went. It went to administrators who are trying to keep track of government box checking. So let me give you, Eric, let me tell you how I can do this in New York. Now, I don't know Florida's system very well. I know New York's system very well. So in New York, we can do this. And the way we do this is we actually take the money and we pay directly from Albany. The money comes directly from our capital. It goes to every district based only on the children. So you have 10 kids, you get X dollars times 10. You have 1,000 kids, X dollars times 1,000. So the district gets the cash to support the district. That's number one, but that's not enough. You do it to where it gets that, and there is no requirement for any standardized testing that is national. What does that do? It pulls the federal government strings out. So the federal government is no longer paying. When the federal government isn't paying, the federal government isn't controlling. Therefore, all those administrators can go away, creating a surplus at the district. Still not done. No grant money coming from the state. You just get your money per kid. Again, the state can no longer control because the state's not granting any special monies. Again, strings go away. No more check boxing. Those administrators can go away. Another bunch of surplus to my district. But I'm still not done. On top of that, I don't budget the actual district based upon anything except number of kids. Therefore, if they don't spend their money, they don't have to spend it. They get the same amount every year. If they want to save their money, they can save it. There's no incentive to spend. There's an incentive to save. Right now, there's an incentive to spend so they can increase their budget. So that takes that away. But I'm still not done. Now what I do in the district, for the monies that are coming out, every person who wants to go to private school or homeschool gets a percentage credit. Maybe, say for example, right now in New York State, we spend about $28,000 per kid per year, give or take. That's the highest in the country, by the way. We beat you, Florida. We spend the most overall average. So say we lower that to 18. Still a lot of money. Still good. And all of a sudden now, there's all those administrators go away. All those check boxes go away. But again, I'm still not done. I now say give a $4,000 credit to anyone who wants to go to private school or who wants to go homeschooling. When you do that, but the kids are still part of the district, which means the kids can be homeschooled if they want to, or they can be private school if they want to, but still use district facilities. Meaning if your kid wants to be homeschooled or go to private school during the day, they can still be on the football team after school, or they can still be in the chess club or the math club, or go on the school trip, or use the school library. That would make it a whole lot easier for private schools to open up. It would make it easier for you to homeschool. That would begin to foster the community and the market you're talking about. These are actual policies that people can understand and like and enjoy versus saying, abolish schools, the market will handle it. Nobody wants to hear abolish schools, the market will handle it. They do want to hear a policy, which I just gave you. Does that make sense, Eric?
The one issue that I have with the policy that you were talking about is that the private schools can then set the cost. If you got rid of public schools, then the area would set the cost. If you have an area of people who make $60,000 a year, the school would go out of business if they charged more than that.
I disagree completely, and let me be very clear on why I disagree. I'm giving you a $4,000 stipend, which means every private school could just say, we charge $4,000 because that's basically free for anybody. If your neighborhood or your area or your school can charge more because the people around that have more money, they'll just charge more than $4,000. So now if they charge $6,000, they're actually charging $2,000. So the market still exists. All I do is create a floor and that everyone can get into private school if they want to. That's what I do, and I create an actual way of moving from public to private, but something else. I also allow public schools to get better if they want to, because some people still like public schools and would rather send their kids to public schools. So I'm also opening up choice.
I guess. I don't know. Just with
you just hate public
the
schools. I
critical
got it.
race theory and everything else that the government is pushing. I just think that more private schools and being more available and just getting rid of public school would fix it. I mean,
I'm not against what you're saying, dude. But the vast majority of Americans do not want to get rid of public schools. Not even close. I mean, it's not even close. So the idea of getting rid of public schools is a fantasy. They're not there.
And that's probably the reason why 99.9% of the country doesn't know how many continents we have. They don't know. They couldn't even tell you what the Constitution is. Because we just worked that out of the schools, and now everybody they're just running around blind, screaming, gun control, racist, critical race theory, and
I'm not fighting you.
What's that?
I'm not fighting you. I'm with you. All I'm saying is I have an actual plan. That's all I'm telling you, brother. I'm with you. No argument for me.
Talking to you, though.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate the call. I hope that was an interesting call for you guys. I got to go down some education policy, which, man, I love. So I'm happy to do that. But I've been bad, though, with your comments. I promise you, I will take care of you guys. Your chat's going nuts. I will take your comments. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharp, WYSL, a free solution. Back with your comments. Thank you, chat. After the break.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service.
Yeah, for whatever it's worth, I pay $5,000 a year in school taxes. I'd rather just spend $4,000 and send my daughter to a private school of my choice.
Is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best.
Although I'm blessed, the school we have here is a small school, and it's almost like a private school.
Customers achieve their goals, but don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Need help with health insurance? The Greece Regional Chamber provides assistance with health insurance for business.
Yep, exactly. That's why I live in a small town. My daughter's in a class of 100. It's the school I grew up in, and for the most part, everything's good.
And navigate the paperwork. Greece Chamber Benefit Partners, located at 2402 West.
I often like to say we live in Mayberry.
Offers a broad range of medical insurance plans for businesses, nonprofits, individuals, and families throughout the greater Rochester Finger Lakes region, working with insurance companies including Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield, Univera, and MVP Healthcare. We can also help you access insurance plans through the New York State of Health, the official health plan marketplace. Again, you do not need to live or work in Greece to utilize our brokerage services. We serve the greater Rochester Finger Lakes region of New York State. Visit greecechamber.org to sign up for one of our free health insurance information sessions or schedule an appointment with one of our licensed brokers. Call 585-227-7272. 585-227-7272.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
A free solution.
Yes, it's Larry Sharp, back on our free solution. WYSL Rochester, New York, WACK Newark, New York. Thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your day. Don't forget that this show's on every single day. And you can reach out to me if you want to also and check me out on the Sharp Way. I'm on all the internet things, all of them, Twitter and Facebook and locals and YouTube and TikTok, all of them. Just Google the Sharp Way. I'm there. I hope to see you there. Let me grab your chat has been crazy. I want to grab a bunch of comments. I do care about you guys. Melissa says, Lara, looking forward to seeing you in Utica. Yes, if you want to see me in person, you can. I do exist. You can head on over to LarrySharp.com, and that's Sharp with an E, and the E stands for entertaining. And you can hit events, and you will see all the places I'm going to be. I'm crossing New York State as I do every year. Happy to see you at any of those events. Thank you. Yes. All right. Ed says, the thing with bringing guns to school, we need to educate students about gun safety and inform parents about keeping their guns away from them. It's the parents' responsibility. Let me touch this piece. I think you're right, Ed, but I don't think you need to allow guns in school if you don't want guns in your school. I'm okay with schools having their own rules and such, but there are many schools who literally have, gun clubs. And then you would have the appropriate time to bring your firearm to school, whatever that would be. Probably after school, you probably leave it in your car or something like that prior to, school. And you probably bring it to the place wherever the club is. I don't have a problem with that either. Gun safety is critical. I completely agree. So schools should be talking about gun safety so kids aren't scared of guns. But these kids aren't bringing the gun to school because they want to carry. They're bringing guns to school because they're violent enforcers. They're trying to enforce their contracts. They're trying to show they're tough. They're trying to sell their product, whatever. This is the wrong reason to bring a gun to school. That's not the right reason. The right reason is because you're part of a gun club or something. That makes sense. That's a good reason to bring your gun to school. The reason the kids are bringing the gun to school, not a good reason. I want to stop the reason, not the gun, the reason. When there's no reason, when that's not the reason, we'll find an answer. The reason's got to go away. Melody says, I'm a child of the 50s. In the second grade, we had a fireman come to class, teaches about fire safety. In the third grade, we had an officer come to class, teaches gun safety. Yeah. And what the kid, she says, the police officer said was, recognize, don't touch. Yeah. When you're a kid, you should be taught, recognize what a firearm is and don't touch it. You're a kid. Right? I agree completely. Yes. Ryan says, thanks, WYSL, for broadcasting Larry's voice. More, please. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. All right. Let's see here if I can do this. Truth is Power says, I call it the dangerous area code law. If kids live in an area code, they go by law to that school. Oh, got it. It doesn't matter if the kids are criminals. Every day we send our kids to a school with them. Well, let me touch this real fast if I could. I pulled my daughter out of school, my youngest one. My oldest one is 17. My youngest one's 11. And I pulled her out of school because here's what was happening in New York City schools. Some of you may be having this in your cities, but many of you are not dealing with this. My daughter would have to go to school. She'd have to put her mask on prior to getting into the school. There were people outside the school looking at the kids. They had to put their mask on when they moved from the street, I'm not joking, to the sidewalk of the school. The mask has to go on once you're on school property. So if you're outside, but not in the school, but on property, the monitors would yell at you and tell you to put your mask on. My kid's 11. So in the school she goes, mask has to stay on. They have to stay 3 feet apart from each other in the school and cannot talk. My kid's 11. You can't talk to your friends in the hallway and you must stay 3 feet across. I guess child COVID only goes 3 feet. I don't know whatever the rules are, but that's what happened. Then in the school classroom, mask on, can't talk to your friends. Go to lunch. Assign seating so you can't sit next to your friend, so you can't talk to your friend. And you have to wait one side of the school while one eats, then swap out. You can't talk. In the hallway, going back to class, 3 feet, mask on, can't talk. Literally, prisoners had more freedom. That's no hyperbole. Literally, prisoners in a prison had more freedom than my daughter. I said, "You're in prison." She's like, "Yes." I pulled her out. We now homeschool. And can I afford it? No. But we homeschool. Because there's just no way I'm putting my daughter in prison. And you would say, "But Larry, there's got to be thousands of people keeping their kids in prison." Yes. This is the precedent I talked about. They're accustomed to this. You've raised your kids to go to prison every day. So they go to prison every day. And when you don't want to go to prison, they go, "What's wrong with you? Why won't you go to prison? I've been going to prison for years. Why won't you go to prison?" Now they're mad at you. You're the bad guy. I don't care. I'm not putting my daughter in prison. I'll pay whatever price is required. I'll do what I got to do. My daughter's not going to prison. Done. My father worked in a jail. My mother was in prison. Not my kids. Not my kids. And that's my choice. Now, people like putting their kids in prison. Okay. I'd rather you not. If you ask my opinion, I'll tell you it's a bad idea, but I can't force you. It's your kids. And why are many parents putting their kids in prison? Because they think there's no option. They think there's no choice. All I can do, I got to work. I got to pay my bills. I got to educate my kid. In prison you go. They're ruining their kids. They don't know any better. They're not bad. They don't know any better. And when we pulled our kids out, at first my wife was like, "If I call the school, they're going to think I'm weird." I'm like, "Don't worry about it. You're not the only one who thinks like me." So they called the school. And the school was like, "Oh, another one? Okay." School didn't care. It wasn't like the school was like, "Oh my God, kids are leaving." They don't care. They're all getting paid. They're all moving forward. Their life doesn't change. To Eric's point, it's a government school. They're all getting paid. They're still getting raises. It doesn't matter if there's one kid in that school that they're beating to death or whether there's 100 or 1,000. Who cares? They don't care how many prisoners they have. They still get paid. They don't get paid by prisoner. If they got paid by prisoner, they would care. My plan. Paid by prisoner. And they're not prisoners in my plan. But they don't get paid per prisoner. One prisoner, 10,000 prisoners. Same salary. They didn't care at all. Bye. And so that's what happened. I know it sounds horrible. That's New York City. I live here in the belly of the beast. And I'm still fighting. I know some of you are like, "Larry, you're crazy." I probably am. But I'm still fighting, guys. Absolutely. So let me keep going if I could. All righty. I appreciate that. Here we go. Let me grab, if I could. Gregory says, they'll use that in the upcoming SCOTUS case. Greg, you bring up a valid point. They use everything as precedent. That's where I try to break the precedent. That's the issue. I want to try to break the precedent. Lyndon says, treating kids like they're in prison. We call this social conditioning. Ooh, very good, Lyndon.
1 minute.
Right. It is. It is literally, yeah, it is that. Yes. Lyndon goes on to say, and giving up all that free labor, that's, yes, absolutely. Kirsten says, I'm not clear how anyone in this day and age, let alone someone purporting to be a leader in government, does not grasp that prisons and jails are themselves traumatizing, i.e. bad for mental health. You'd think so, wouldn't you? But again, we don't know any better. That's the issue. Camille says exactly the same thing. It's all, Larry, it's not all they know. People have agendas from the simplest joke to the President of the United States. Leaders have agendas. People don't. People just want to be happy. People just want their kids to be happy. People just want a solution, a free solution, one which I give every week. Guys, thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your weekend. I will see you all very soon.